If you're a League player, you'll probably at some point in time run into this hot scary lady named Diana. Let me say this straight, I fucking love Diana. Love her skill set, love her looks, love her pictures together with Lunar. But, as much as I love her, is she really a balanced champion? I don't know, but today, I'm going to find out. Her passive, Moonsilver Blade, is another one of those 3-hit 1-effect abilities. She needs to hit something 2 times and then bam, on her 3rd hit, she does bonus AoE damage around her. Numbers can change, but this ability has always been her strongest damage tool, even though people kinda seem to forget about it. It's useless if she isn't in melee range already or makes a very fast engage. Because unlike most abilities, the window where she has the extra damage up is very short. And she also doesn't decide when to get the extra damage on like something like a Shinsha or something. It does give her incredible dueling power, but that doesn't matter against a burst champion if she can't get those 3 hits off. It's like Riot thought,
Yo, Morello, what do you think about this ability?
Well, Freak, I think it's weird and I don't like it. Change it.
But it's so pretty.
Okay, keep it and make sure it hurts as much as it's shiny.
in my opinion, this ability is actually quite well balanced. Does do a lot of damage? Sure. But it does require a hell of a lot of setup too. Moving on to her Q. This is a weird ass ability. She fires off 2 beams of moonlight in an arc, which does damage and reveals any one hit, stealth not included. The worst part about this ability though, is how hard it is to hit. Now, I know there's going to be some people saying, it's not that hard. But fuck you, I thought Master Yi was hard when I first started playing this game. There is also a lot of Diana mains who misses this ability frequently. That just kinda goes to show how hard this ability actually is to hit. Anyhow, the damage is between high and average, the cooldown is low and the range is pretty average. Though, on the subject of range, since it is needed to turn the full arc, it's almost useless for chasing someone in front of you. The mana cost though, it's stupidly freaking low, and rarely will you ever run out of mana on Diana if you don't go full ham. And lastly, the thing about this ability is, it doesn't lose damage no matter how many targets it passes through. That's actually quite fucking scary. Do I think this ability is balanced? Well, yeah I do, but I gotta say, I'm wrong. Average to high damage, low cooldown, low mana and fixed damage on multiple targets with the ability to reveal stuff with no real drawback except for actually hitting this ability. I'll let you decide. W time! Her W is this shield that also does damage in small bubbles around her. When all these bubbles are popped, she gets another shield that either stacks or refreshes her current shield. If she gets the max duration though, this can last for 9 seconds. That's one hell of a shield. But the absolutely most fucked up part about this shield is though, it scales off of AP.
Yo, Freak, I don't think it was a good idea to give Riven a shield based off of damage. So, why does Diana have it?
For the lols.
Okay.
But to be fair, the spheres doesn't exactly do much damage even if they all hit a single target. They do explode in AoE, so they're quite good for wave clear. The mana cost is pretty high early on and the cooldown is just kinda high all around. What do I think of this ability? I feel like it's more broken than unbalanced. I mean, you can never really have an assassin get as tanky as an actual tank and still call it fair. On paper though, it's clearly not too strong of an ability right now since the numbers are quite fair. It's just badly designed and it will hopefully never be fucking done again. But the important part is, it looks fucking awesome. Look at it! Look at E. Let's move on to her E. Her E is just straight up weird. She increases gravity, which I did a video on, in the area around her and pulls everyone into the middle. Whereas she slows everyone hit by quite a bit, but still not that much. This is where the good about it ends though. The mana cost early game is quite high and it doesn't do any damage at all. Fuck those things! There is one extremely huge weakness with this ability, and that is its cooldown. Wanna know a fun fact? This ability has at all ranks more cooldown than her ultimate at equal ranks. It is not even good for chasing people as she basically has to be in melee range already. I've always liked this ability, but it does kinda seem lackluster. Like, when I'm playing her, I feel like I'm using my ultimate as soon as I press E, and that's just a weird feeling, man. Balanced, it could really use a buff in the cooldown. Strong, not really. Looks, enough to give someone epilepsy. Let's move on to her ultimate. This is really what makes Diana Diana. She clicks on shit and then dashes to them in 11 frames to be exact. Then comes a bit of damage and that's really it. But it can't get refreshed as long as the shit you're clicking on is hit by the Q first and still have the I can see you debuff on them. This can actually potentially mean you don't have to have it on cooldown at all the entire game. But let's be real, who walks to jungle camps? Diana is not a freaking casual, she jumps around like a pro. This cooldown is also one of the lowest for any ultimates in the game. Not counting things like Corgi Rocket and Team Mushrooms. Fuck those things. And the range is really the biggest point and click dash in the game, except for Nocturne Ultimate, but come on, that's just an unfair comparison. It can also be used without having to Q anything first, which means that Diana basically always has a huge gap closer with no real counterplay to it. Though, she cannot use this ability a second time if she uses it this way, which means she loses damage, and since Diana doesn't have any real disengage, this can actually just spell her doom. What do I think about this ability? Honestly, I hate it. Every time I use it without hitting the Q, I think, well damn, they had no way of stopping me from actually jumping the AD carry, and this shit has almost twice the range. That's no fun for any of us. But though, I don't think this is a broken ability, as the damage is, like, nowhere near an actual ultimate, and when she uses it, she's going in for real, with no way of getting out. My point is, I think it's a broken mechanic, and while I don't think the damage is too high, it clearly has way too many strong points, with minimal drawbacks. Oh yeah, on the subject of dashes, fuck you, Akali! Okay, so after saying so much shit that I actually confused myself, do I think that Diana is overpowered? I don't think so. I think she's a strong champion with clear weaknesses on almost all of her abilities. But, just like an other champion, the entire concept of her is made in such a way that no one is actually able to balance them. Too much damage with a damage getting shield and you give you a hyper carry tank. Think of a Vayne with Mundo's ability to not die. Shit. Not enough damage, and the champion would generally not be that good of a pick, just like she is now. But hey, on solo queue, everyone is strong. Except Bard. TLDR, Diana is balanced but quite toxic to have in the game. Sorry Diana, please don't kill me.